Are the Houston Rockets a legitimate threat to win the Western Conference? The Rockets have been on a tear lately, and they haven't lost a game since Chris Paul's return, going 10-0. In fact, they haven't lost a game at all with Chris Paul in the lineup, albeit he only played one other game before his injury, but that game was a win against the Warriors. Before the season began, the victors of the Western Conference seemed to be a foregone conclusion. But now, I think we have to revisit that assumption. What's up, guys? It's your boy Wet Like Water, and yeah, the topic of today's video is a hypothetical matchup between the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. So let's get to it. Since Chris Paul has rejoined the lineup for the Rockets, they have led the NBA in both offensive and defensive net rating, with an offensive rating of 117.8 and a defensive rating of 98.7. That means they are scoring about 118 points per 100 possessions while only allowing around 99. By comparison, the Golden State Warriors have an offensive rating of 113.8 this season and a defensive rating of 101. That means that the Rockets, with Chris Paul in their lineup, have been outscoring their opponents by 6.2 more points per 100 possessions than the Warriors. This is impressive, because we haven't seen a team that has been able to outscore their opponents by more than the Warriors in the last 3 years. The Rockets have been a good team for a while now, but with Chris Paul, they've been on another level. They're scoring nearly half of their points from three-pointers, and they have been making them at a historical rate. They have even been decimating the Warriors' three-point percentages. With CP3, the Rockets have been shooting an insane 48.7% from three, while the Warriors, by comparison, have been shooting only 36.3% from three this year. The Rockets' 48.7% mark from the three-point line is unheard of in NBA history. The highest three-point percentage a team has ever had belongs to the 1997 Charlotte Hornets, who shot about 43% from behind the arc. The second best mark, and a better comparison because they had a more modern offense, was the 2015 73-win Warriors team. They shot about 42%. With Chris Paul in their lineup, the Rockets haven't only been arguably the best team in the NBA this season, they have been one of the best teams in NBA history. This sets up a great clash between what we already know is one of the greatest teams to ever play in the NBA, if not the greatest, in the Golden State Warriors. But we all know that basketball games don't just come down to stats. The Warriors have had the best chemistry in the NBA for several years now, and it has clearly propelled them into becoming the dominant force they have been. You can tell just by watching them play that these guys all love playing and winning together. The joy they play with has been evident for a while now, and even helped to land them arguably their biggest superstar and most transcendent talent in Kevin Durant. When he was initially questioned on why he joined the Warriors after he had just lost to them in a heated 7-game series only several months earlier, Durant was quoted as saying that during his free agency meeting with the Warriors, the players who were present walked in and it looked like they were holding hands. And he walked out knowing what he wanted. He said, "A lot of people talk about how tight they are and how much they enjoy each other. But to see them together, you could tell that it was true." It is clear that the Warriors' chemistry has helped them tremendously both on and off the court. Nobody seems worried about how many shots they are getting or what their stats are. This has allowed them to create an awesome team environment where egos don't seem to get in the way like they do all too often in the NBA. These Warriors players know each other's games inside and out, which has allowed them to lead the league in assists as well as points off screens. Everybody on the team is a willing passer who just knows when and where to hit their teammates to get buckets. That being said, the Rockets seem to have some pretty next level chemistry themselves. With an offense that has been run by two incredibly willing passers, their role players have had absolutely no issues getting involved. This is evidenced by the fact that Clint Capella has been ranked as high as 10th on the MVP ladder, and Ryan Anderson has been shooting an absurd 77.8% from three off of passes from Chris Paul. That percentage is unbelievable. Before this season began, a lot of people were skeptical as to whether Harden and Paul could coexist, since both players have been incredibly ball dominant throughout their careers. However, that hasn't been a problem at all. Both players have still been able to play their games to perfection. Harden and Paul are averaging 9.5 assists each, which ties them for second place in the NBA in assist leaders, and Harden leads the league in scoring at 32 points per game. Clearly, these two can coexist. Not only can they coexist, they also bring out the best in each other as well as the rest of their teammates. In my opinion, if these two teams were to meet at full strength in the playoffs, it would be one of the most interesting matchups in NBA history. They're both absolute juggernauts on both ends of the floor, and they have incredible team chemistry. Not only that, they both run some of the most exciting offenses in the entire league. I'm not quite sure how this matchup would end, but fireworks are guaranteed. And yes, I do believe that the Houston Rockets are a legitimate threat to the Golden State Warriors in the West, and probably the most legit threat to them in the entire NBA. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give me a comment and a like, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm going to be posting videos about everything to do with the NBA, and I'm going to be trying to upload a few times a week. This is Wet Like Water. See you next time.